Welcome back. This is Hope at Dawn, and that was the musical break. And we are now ready for the newspaper review, getting to know what's happening in our +254. Karibu sana to that particular segment. Yep.
And we are going to be looking at the Daily Nation and
All
also
right.
the Standard, the
Yes.
Business Daily as well, if we can get a few pointers.
Mm,
And Daily Nation has
yeah.
some really sad news,
Yeah.
in all honesty. And
Mm,
I'm beginning to worry because how many more deaths are we going to have
yeah.
reported? Because we are seeing here that the death toll has hit 31. So that is
31.
what is happening. Yep,
And this is
31.
after the Sabasaba
Imagine
protest. 31 souls
just the
lost.
Sabasaba. You know, I'm seeing more Kenyans lose their lives as injuries also mount amid growing violence in the wave of youth-led protests across the country. Economy-wise, protests hit most sectors of the economy hard, disrupting businesses and travel and keeping workplaces in many towns shut. We see a fresh boycott call also. Opposition politicians urge Kenyans to shun businesses, services and institutions with links to President Ruto and his allies. Interesting. UN sounds alarm. High Commissioner for Human Rights voices concern over violent turn of events during Sabasaba demonstrations. And this is a story covered on pages 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And there's a very sad picture here of Miss Sabina Tabitha, who is the wife of 37-year-old Paul Makori. Who was killed during Monday's Sabasaba demonstrations in Kangemi, Nairobi, she was addressing journalists yesterday at the Nairobi Funeral Home. Quite unfortunate. And we have seen some reactions also that have been put there. I see Miss Anne Gikunju saying, when I arrived at the hospital, my son's body was on a trolley in the emergency department, surrounded by his friends and some protesters. I also see UN High Commissioner for Human Rights saying it is actually concerning that these latest incidents come barely 2 weeks after 15 protesters were reportedly killed and many more injured in Nairobi and other towns. So this is a story covered very extensively on the Daily Nation. Quite unfortunate. Over 31 deaths have been reported from the Sabasaba protest and commemoration. It's quite unfortunate and sad.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, why are police officers using live bullets when it comes to, because if you're holding such a weapon, chances are it will go off at some point. So, it's quite unfortunate.
Very sad.
In all honesty, it's really, really unfortunate. And still, the Daily Nation is covering TSC unveils new policy on teacher promotions. And the TSC mission has established a policy for promotion of teachers that provides for their automatic progression within common cadre grades without the need for competitive interviews. The policy will apply to 3 categories of teachers, including certificate holders, commonly referred as P1, diploma, and a bachelor's degree holders. And I also see page 10 covering why new sugar millers are switching to cane products. That's a story covered on the Daily Nation this morning. More news on the Daily Nation. I see Moses Kuria resigns as President Ruto's senior advisor. So that is what is also being reported on the Daily Nation this morning. More news. I see Gachagua allies to know on Thursday, that is tomorrow, whether they will plead to terrorism charges. I also see how one woman's campaign led new dispensary in Kitui's, led to a new dispensary in Kitui's remote village. And this is quite an interesting news covered on the Daily Nation. And lastly, I see opposition leaders call for boycott of Kenya Kwanza linked businesses. I think we've also touched that on the top page this morning. What do you have on the Standard?
Almost the same, but looking at the front page, that is the headline.
Yeah.
They go with the headline "Innocent Blood," and then faces of some of the people who were killed during the Sabasaba riots. And for me, the saddest thing is that these people who were killed, actually, some of those who were killed were very, very young, in their 20s. And so they say innocent blood shed by police. A 6-month-old child will now grow up fatherless. The man who prayed to raise him gunned down before he could return home. In Kiambu, 12-year-old Bridget Njoki was shot dead while watching TV in her living room.
Are you serious?
In Kitengela, a mother spent the night guarding the body of her deceased son. When the gunfire stopped, at least 11 lay dead in a blood-soaked echo of Sabasaba. Kenya's streets have become execution grounds. As Gen Zs marched unarmed for justice, bullets answered their cries. Most fired from behind, striking down those running for safety but never reaching it. It's a story that is covered on pages 4 and 5. And they have given some of the names. I see here some of those who have been killed. A 12-year-old girl in Kiambu, a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 26-year-old, 24-year-old, 24-year-old, 23-year-old, and two 25-year-old gentlemen here. Very sad story here. And there is a picture there of Anne Nyawera, mother of Brian Kimutai, addressing journalists at the Kitengela Sub-County Hospital mortuary yesterday. And so they say tears and outrage in Kiambu as a 6 shot dead during Sabasaba protests. And so that's a story that they are going with. And so according to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, they reported that 31 people were killed during the recent Sabasaba protests, which rocked several counties across the country. And families mourning those that were shot dead during the riots. And we continue to say and to pray for this nation, but also calling out the injustice and brutality by the police force, because indeed there's nothing that you can do to justify killings of people, and especially if they were unarmed. That is what even the law stipulates. Then street vendors, kiosks, they lead in the sale of counterfeit products. That's a story that also you can get there. This one also you have highlighted. Moses Kuria resigning as Ruto's senior economic advisor. And in his post, he says he will now focus on personal interests. Then this one, as the surgeon placed her on the operating table, ready to deliver her, hundreds of armed goons stormed the hospital. The doctor was terrified, a baby to be delivered, a mother's life to be saved, and her own personal safety. That is this particular surgeon who experienced this at the sub-county hospital in Kitengela. And then I see the United Nations on Tuesday expressed serious concern over the deaths of at least 10 people in Kenya, where police and protesters clashed during anti-government demonstrations the previous day. And then maximizing digital platforms for financial growth. You can read that as well. And the president has assented to division of revenue bill. See and read what that entails. And Koome urges police to distinguish peaceful protesters from goons during protests. And Isiolo Governor Abdi Guyo yesterday survived an impeachment attempt after the Senate threw out the case filed by the County Assembly, citing procedural flaws. And so he survives impeachment motion after 31 senators voted in his favor, 12 voted against him. And so that is in as far as the same is rather that impeachment motion is concerned. And so that is what the Standard is reporting this morning. The pullout, the enterprise pullout, street vendors, kiosks, top in fix. It's on page 4 and 5 of the enterprise pullout. And when sibling rivalry kills promising enterprises, that's on page 3 of the pullout, and how to oust a co-founder legally and smoothly. That's on page 6 inside the pullout as well this morning. Then for Taifa Leo, what they are reporting this morning, ukatili wa Sabasaba, that is what they go with. Ukatili wa polisi dhidi ya raia wa Kenya ulivuka mipaka wakikabiliana na waandamanaji Jumatatu, ambapo zaidi ya watu 10 waliuawa. Kote nchini, nyumba zimegeuka maeneo ya maombolezo zikitikiswa na vilio vya watoto, wajane na wazazi waliobaki kubeba machungu ya kuua kwa wapendwa wao na polisi. Na Raila motoni kwa kauli ya majadiliano. Wengi wasema kuna ripoti nyingi za nyuma zinazoweza kutumika kushughulikia mengi ya malalamishi yanayowasilishwa na vijana wa Gen Z. Ni vile gazeti hilo limeripoti. Na Dunia Yamulika Kenya kuhusu vifo, uharibifu. Pia naona PSG Real usiku wa fataki tele, mabingwa wa Ulaya kukutana na vigogo wa Uhispania nusu finali. That is the Club World Cup which is going on tonight, and Chelsea already through to the finals. They beat Fluminense by 2-0. So who will join them? Will it be Real Madrid or PSG? And finally, the Business Daily BD, how county officials rig tenders through proxies, and Airbnb surge in Nairobi lifts rents by 10%, and blow to expert workers after income tax benefits removed. You can read that and some more inside the Business Daily.
All right, beautiful. And that's it for the newspaper review segment. So now let's have a look at the video of the day.